It's almost like the people who run America are intentionally trying to destroy the country. We see every single day thousands and thousands of illegals flowing through the southern border, a record high of 12,000 the other day. And this continuously happens with no sort of plan, no retribution put into place to stop these illegals from continuously flowing nonstop. The Border Patrol is literally not doing its job. The Biden administration has told them, let them through and do not shoot, do not harm. They're simply allowing them to walk right through. They're waiting in line. They get their citation. They come into the country and they don't even spend a single day in jail. They go to these sanctuary cities, places like New York. You have places in Texas that's being overcrowded. Obviously, out in California, San Francisco, they're dealing with many immigration issues. So that's going to be the topic for today's show, the southern border crisis and why an open border is not a border. Like I said, they're allowing these people to flow through with very little to no consequences. What is that supposed to tell your average, hardworking, tax-paying American who follows the rules, who does everything they're supposed to, but yet somebody who is legally not supposed to be here can come right on through to our country, have shelter, get a free iPhone, and be on your way making money through the welfare programs at the very detriment of the American people. It's really interesting that all this is happening right now, with Ukraine, with Israel, with our southern border completely wide open, all when the Biden administration is at the end of its tenure. None of which happened when President Trump was in office, not once, not a shred of any of this nonsense. Like I said, a record high of 12,000 illegals that came through the southern border into our country. And there's a new statistic coming out that several million of these people didn't even originate from like Mexico, from basically where the places are coming from. In some cases, these people are coming from Japan. They're coming from third world countries in Africa. It's genuinely a serious concern because if these people are leaving these other countries and, just happily flowing through with no retribution, what's going to happen to everybody else? I mean, the fact that these people are leaving their country and, it's the fall of the West in a sense. Everything is failing in real time. And, you look at what happens in other countries and, we could potentially be next. That's usually what happens. In the Roman Empire, when they fell, it was like a domino effect. A lot of these other third world countries are especially in worse shape than we are. And I even had refugees on my show in previous episodes. We've talked to them about what their country is like and how difficult it is to live in such impoverished areas with very little to no governmental help. So there's not really a surprise that so many people are fleeing these countries to come to America because there obviously is more freedom in our country, even though we're seeing it slowly be taken away. But there's no surprise there. And that's where, us being the most dominant and powerful country in the world, we need to be a resistance. These illegals are showing who's more powerful. They're saying our laws do not matter. They aren't complying with the government and they're continuously pushing through because there is no resistance. And that's the thing here. It's a pattern. It's a domino effect. When you have no sort of border patrol, when you're knowingly sitting here with an open border and letting people come through, that's a sign for others in these countries that are struggling to do the same. So it's almost intentional at this point. They know what they're doing, the Biden administration. They know they're letting people in, and they are literally giving them to these sanctuary cities. Mayor Eric Adams has no idea what to do with these people. They were the ones that said, oh yeah, sure, come to us. We'll give you the housing. They're required to come up with $200 million to house all these illegal migrants that they have locked up in these houses in random places like their hotel bills. They're required to pay $200 million to keep these people afloat. It's not sustainable. It's not going to work. All these sanctuary cities are literally turning to shit. San Francisco, many places in Oregon, and especially California, like I said before. But it's literally happening in front of us and we're doing nothing about it, especially the people who are in charge. So it's like, what do you do as a citizen? How do you respond to this? I mean, they're almost asking for us to take charge. You have to also keep in mind that this is a great way for them to start a terrorist attack. If they're able to have all these people in these big cities, I mean, don't be surprised when something like this happens, especially another 9/11. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. We have to be ready for what's coming. We have to be ready for just the absolute tyranny that we're bestowed upon, the abominable incompetence of our very leaders. It's literally what's destroying this country. It might not have another 5 years, and especially if another Democrat gets into office. Another 4 years of Joe Biden will cripple this country. We do not have 4 years, especially when you talk about, the globalists who literally are trying to control the world. It's a very easy fix. You close down the border completely for a year. We do not have the capacity or the sustainability to take on anyone, legal or illegal. We have to shut this shit down, get that patrol out there, make them do their jobs. And we also need to build a wall. We need to finish that. That's hopefully something the Trump administration can accomplish this time if he gets back in office. And we can put a secure line of defense and not have to worry about this constant and egregious flow of these illegals. I mean, an average of 6,000 a day. That's just crazy. That's bizarre. How on earth is this going to be sustainable for years from now, for even 2 to 3 years from now? Like, we're seeing the fall of the West and the fall of these large cities in real time. I mean, it's genuinely scary. And the fact that our leaders are doing literally nothing about it tells you all you need to know. Shut down the border, arrest the people who are here illegally, and by the 14th Amendment, they are not granted citizenship. I don't even care if they have kids here. You are not granted birthright citizenship or the amnesty of being a citizen of this country. Even if you come into this country illegally and have a child, you aren't granted citizenship. Your child does not have birthright citizenship and certainly won't be granted amnesty under the 14th Amendment. You do not have the right to that citizenship if you come here illegally and break the laws. It's in the 14th Amendment. Read it. So like I said, shut down the borders, prosecute the people that came here legally and deport them back. Then you worry about allowing people into this country legally. And yes, we need to speed up the process to get citizens into this country legally. We need to incentivize that you come into this country by following the rules. You'll have better life, more freedom, more opportunity than coming into this country illegally, just basically receiving handouts. We have to incentivize following the law. I mean, you have to blame, obviously, the illegals. I mean, they're one to blame, but you have to blame the people who, one, make the laws, and two, the ones who are implementing them. It's a governmental blame. There's a lot of things that they could do here and they're being ignorant about that's openly destroying this country. I mean, these are the things that literally can cripple a nation. This is something that could cause a civil war. Like I said, another terrorist attack. This needs to be the top priority, not Ukraine, not Israel, not sending a single dollar to any of these nations until we figure out our own mess in general. And even then, I still don't support sending money over there. But we have to figure out our national crisis. This is a serious epidemic and could very well destroy our nation as we know it if we don't have the right people to step in, to speak up for the truth, and also shut down these borders. We have to have the America First mindset if we're going to control this nation and be sustainable for years to come. You need to wake up. You need to see what's going on. I really don't see how anyone is accepting of sending money and worrying about these countries that, again, a lot of people cannot pinpoint on a map over our own border that is being flown with terrorists, people who have the idea of destroying America. That is what we're facing today. And yet people want to turn a blind eye and worry about, somewhere 20,000 miles away. It's a real issue. It's one of the biggest issues of our time, I think, and could go down as the issue of the century. And the fact that mainstream media companies are not putting this first over everything. Yeah, they'll mention, the border crisis. They'll have, a 15-minute segment at most every single day or maybe a few days a week. But they'll spend 2 to 3 hours, if not more, on places like Israel, Ukraine, all these random countries that really don't have our best interests at heart, and at the same time aren't helping us today. It's really mind-boggling. There's so many questions. It's not even Republican, Democrat. It's really, are you with America or are you with other countries? I mean, it's what it really comes down to. And that's another thing, though. If we're all set on sending money to these other countries and being pro-war, I mean, come on, look what happened to Iraq, Afghanistan. You think we would have learned by sending all of our sons and daughters off to war? that cost us so many lives, so many just great men and women that shouldn't have been lost because they're political leaders that will sell out their country for just a bit of cash. And that's the reality. So I'm not kidding when I say this. The southern border is absolutely atrocious right now. Take a look at this.
No corran, no hay prisa, no hay fila.
So you can see right there, they're just walking right through, no sort of consequence. So you can see right there, they're not worried at all. They're just walking right through, just hanging out casually, ready to just enter the United States and take their handouts. This shouldn't be a bipartisan issue. And the fact that the neocon Republicans have no interest in putting this first is crazy. And obviously the Democrats don't. But it simply comes down to the America First patriots that are set on helping this country provide the national values that are being taken away from us every single day. And we're supposed to just sit here and let all this happen. Be a good slave. Go back to work. Don't worry about it. Pay your taxes. That's what they want you to think, and that's what they want you to do. Like I said, this is the issue of our lifetime, and if we don't put it first, you're going to think the attack on Israel was nothing compared to what can happen to the United States if we let this keep happening. It's been an excellent year. We got about 40 episodes in, plenty of content, plenty of interviews, and 2024 is going to be an exciting year. We got 10 plus interviews scheduled in 2024 already, from politics to entertainment, pop culture, economics, you name it. We've got all sorts of exciting content and coverage coming your way 2024. Stay tuned. The Kacee Allen Show, which is now the 7th largest show in the state of Kentucky, and we're going to continue to grow. Thanks for everyone staying with us this year. And it's been a great time. We're going to have exciting things ahead, and we'll see you next time.